What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. I hope that you are having a wonderful week. My week is going off pretty good, and I am very thankful to God, and I thank God in all of my imperfect flesh, just for giving me the motivation to just keep going and trying to navigate through Satan's crazy world. I want to talk about something that's kind of come on my radar really quickly, just because, you know, I, I've been seeing a lot of this women getting abused by men and video. And recently, Keke Palmer revelations about her relationship with her baby daddy has kind of further revealed some of his insecurities that he showed when she was being serenaded by Usher a couple of months back. But before I get into Keke Palmer, I want to get into a video that I saw on Twitter. And I reposted it on Twitter to make a point. And if you follow me on Twitter, AngieC313, you'll be able to see this video. And it's a video of a man and a woman who are engaged in an argument, right? And there's some pushing and tussling. And this woman is really in this man's face like she is another man. And if you guys caught my video earlier this year, there was another woman at a bowling alley, right? And she was in this man's face, and she hit the man, knocked him out with a bowling ball, right? So women, in all of this high feminist, angry woman, entitled woman energy, they are big flexing on men. They are big flexing on men all the time. Now, in this particular video, this woman, she ends up, pushing this guy, getting up in his face, and she's getting up in his face like she's going to do something to him. So she's antagonizing the situation, and she's getting up in his face like she's going to do something. He pushes her away. She picks up something and throws it in his face, and then he knocks her out. She falls, hits her head in a very awkward way on the stove. I'm not sure if that caused any permanent damage to her or not. But when, the woman who posted it, she was like, these men are violent, these men are this, but she doesn't really recognize what the woman did that led up to that situation. Now, I saw another video of a young lady on the bus, and she's in a man's face, and she's calling him bees and stuff like this, blah, 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 like that. And she's coming up in his face like she's going to hit him. And then all of a sudden he slaps her, knocks her down on the ground, knocks her out. And again, people looking at that, did he go too far? Did he go too far? And I will say yes, because you are not dealing with equal forces. I don't care what the size of a woman is, right? Most times than not, men are stronger than women. And when women are big flexing on dudes that are of equal or higher size than them, that's when it becomes really problematic. But even when you're dealing with a man that is, even slightly shorter than you, he's still dealing with more muscle mass than you are dealing with. So when you're talking about these women who are literally getting in a man's face like she is another man, I question what they expect to happen. Because we live in a world where we continuously program our sons not to hit women. We program our sons and our men don't hit women. But for some reason, we miss the mark when it comes to telling women not to put their hands on men. And we miss the mark when we tell young boys that it is unacceptable for a young girl to be putting their hands on him. And we're not teaching our daughters, don't go out in these streets putting your hands on little boys and men. Why? Because you are not equal to them. They are bigger than you. And very rarely do you find a girl that can sit there and beat the ass of multiple different boys. That's very rare. Most times in a fight, men are going to win. Men are going to win. Even if a woman trains as a fighter, you see these UFC chicks getting their asses handed to them by these transgender dudes. chicks, whatever you want to call them, men living as women, you see them these women getting their asses handed to them by these men living as women. And yet, the feminists will let women believe that you can be femme fatale up in a man's face. I'll give you another example. Recently, one of my good friends, and she's been dating this beta guy for like 5 years. Now, the most they've ever broken up was 2 weeks. And now she hit me up, oh, we're broken up or whatever, like permanently, right? And I'm like, y'all ain't broken up permanently. You tell me this like every time. It's just like, no, we broke up permanently. It's over. We got into a big fight. He pushed me. I hurt my arm. I'm like, what? I'm like, how? She's like, oh, yeah. And she tells me about this. I guess he gets this guitar from somebody and she didn't like it. It was another chick that I guess she had met when she was dating him earlier. She takes the guitar, breaks it all over the place or whatever. He decides to just go. I said, what did he do? And she was like, oh, he just went in a room. I was like, okay. And she's like, so I went in the room and I just started like, blah, 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 da, da, da. And he's like, I'm just trying to sleep. He's just trying to. And so I guess if she's getting all up in his face and he pushed her across the room, she fell into the dresser, hurt herself, right? And that moment was literally, and I told her, that was the moment that he was done with you for good. Because you pushed him to do something that he would not normally have done to a woman. You pushed him to put his hands on you. You literally emasculated that man in that moment, and there's no coming back from there. There are a lot of men, they don't want to put their hands on women, and a lot of women that they deal with know that, and they will sit there and antagonize that man to the point where she puts him in a situation where he feels threatened enough where he needs to neutralize her. Now, most guys, they are going to neutralize out of anger at that point. They're not going to neutralize out of reason in terms of using their weight to restrict her, push her down, and hold her down and let her know, don't put your hands on me. I'm telling you this because I do not want to hurt you really badly. If you want to start this fight, and this is while he's restraining her, he's telling her, right? I'm warning you, don't fucking hit me. Don't put your hands on me. Don't strike me with anything because I'm going to beat your motherfucking ass. And it may not seem right to a lot of people, but this is reality. This is not some virtual reality or whatever where everything is peaches and roses. There are women out here beating men's asses because these men don't want to hit them back. And we are normalizing females abusing men. We are normalizing this. We are normalizing this, and then we're turning them into the victims when these men give them the business. And I'm not advocating for men abusing women. I'm not advocating for men hitting women, but I do advocate for men having the right to defend themselves against a hyper-feminist woman that think that she can go toe-to-toe with him. They have that right. I teach my son not to hit girls that don't hit him. Period. Because I will not normalize my son taking abuse from a female. Period. And no parent should normalize their son taking abuse from females. It's horrible. It sets a horrible precedent, and you literally slowly emasculate that young boy because he's defenseless against a trifling little girl whose daddy did not teach her not to hit boys, whose daddy is teaching her to go toe-to-toe with boys like an idiot or mama. So I'm stating these examples to say that we shouldn't victimize every damn woman that we see a man putting their hand. We see one side of a story, right? We could even see a video with both sides of the story, and it looks like the man is still getting the heat for protecting himself against an irrational and violent, toxic woman. And that needs to be called out. We need to stop normalizing women beating men. Now, getting to Keke Palmer. All right. I don't know that situation. I do not know that situation. There's bits and pieces of things coming out from one perspective. Him and his brother are trying to set Keke up so he can be a baby daddy and basically short squeeze her and embarrass her and get paid forever because he's a loser and he has no ambitions for himself and he can't make money by himself without being in the shadow of a woman that's more successful than him. That's one side of the story, right? That Keke has been, and then Keke is creating this narrative. I was alone. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to do this. And I get it. I look at Keke Palmer and I can definitely see a woman that has probably been insecure in her life. I can definitely see Keke Palmer who want a certain type of guy that even in her celebrity status, for some reason, she's not able to lock down like she could at Darius, who is at a lower level. But the reality of the situation is once you become a woman of success, it does not work when you date down. It really doesn't, because you're always going to be dealing with the pride of a man. And most men don't want their women making more than them, because regardless of what we all have been programmed, equality, this, that, or other, or whatever, men still feel some form of leadership, headship, as they should. Because if somebody break into your house, right, who's the first person you're expecting to put their life on the line to protect the fucking house? The man. In most situations, it is the man responding to the threats. So a lot of times the psychology of men is always going to be leadership and headship, because in their minds, they're the ones who are expected to put their life on the line. So with Keke Palmer, we see her side of the story. She's saying that she was alone, she was abused and all this stuff. And I get it. We see video footage of this man, doing, obviously being very violent to Keke, right? But at the same time, we only see one side of the token. We don't see what led up to the argument. We don't see what she did to him to escalate the argument into that point. And there are some men, unfortunately, they are that unstable where in their minds, I'm not about to just neutralize this chick who tried to attack me. I'm going to beat her ass so that she understands, don't you ever come at me like this again. There are some men who are like that. They have zero problem putting their hands on women who think that they can put their hands on them. So I don't understand why we keep fostering this femme fatale, women are equal to men, when we clearly not. If women were equal to men, the transgender men, the transgender men living as women, trans women, trans women, they would not be giving women the business in high competitive impact sports. We're not equals. We are not equals. Even down to our mindset of risk, we are not equals. And that's been proven in women's sports recently, because you have a lot of biological women who are tapping out and they are refusing to fight these trans women, men living as women, right? Because they already know the physical disadvantage that they have. I mean, and let's just keep it a beam. If I'm wrestling, I'm training, I'm conditioning, right? He's doing, she, them, they doing the same thing. The same thing. Meaning that they can beat my ass double time. Let's keep it a buck. Keep it a buck. Keep it 100. So I'm just saying that women need to stop flexing on men. Women really need to stop flexing on men. We are not equal to them. I would, honestly, if I had to defend myself against a man that's coming after me, I have to think about killing him. I'm not about to sit there thinking about wrestling no man. I will not. If I see a man threatening me, I'm not even about to play with that shit. I'm neutralizing it. That is what the Second Amendment is for, because that is not equal force. You are a bigger motherfucker. All you got to do is put your hand around my neck and I'm dead. I got to put a hole in your ass midsection somewhere. So that's just, that's just 100. I mean, I have never, ever attacked a man in any relationship. I'm one of those people, I'll leave, I'll be quiet, I'll be petty as hell, but I am not about to attack your ass because I like my face. Okay? I like the face that God gave me. I don't want to see it disfigured by the punches of a man that I just tried to flex on. That's just not my thing. It's just not my thing. And hopefully, if you're a smart woman, it's not going to be your thing either. Don't flex on men. Women, do not flex on men. Thank you.